So this morning I did a little bit of tire testing between tubular and tubeless cyclocross tires. It wasn't a direct comparison. I'm not using two of the exact same tires, just the clincher or tubeless and tubular versions of it. They were different companies and different tread patterns, so the results are not scientific by any stretch, and there are a lot of variables that were not in my ability to control. But the results were still kind of interesting, and I thought it was worthwhile sharing. So for the equipment that I was using, the bikes are Cannondale Super 6 Evo CX/SEs, just two different paint colors as you can kind of see in shot here. On bike number one, the tubeless tires, I had Vittoria Terreno mixes on 21.6 millimeter tubeless rims, and the tire itself measured at 34.3 millimeters. And on bike number two, which again, another Cannondale Super 6 Evo SE, I had 33 millimeter Challenge Grifos on light bicycle tubular rims, both of which I had at 21 front and 23 PSI, as that is my general base pressure, just across the board, and then it does vary from there. So I have a little minute and a half cross course that I have set up, which has a mix of everything. There's a bit of off camber, a bit of sand, a little forced run up or semi-forced run up. I'm gonna do a few laps to get acquainted with riding, and then just to feel comfortable on the bike. And then from there, I'll do a few time testing runs and see how each one does. But again, not the most scientific. They're not identical tires, but I am going to try and control as many variables as I can. Same tire pressure. I'll be using a heart rate monitor to see how my effort differs. And yeah, I think it should be good. And as I'm doing this, I'm not doing it at race pace. I'm doing this at like a tempo, so it'll be a little bit more controllable, but I'm not pushing anything to its absolute limits. So should be repeatable, should be good, and we'll see how it all looks. And when I'm all done, I'll figure out what the average times were, what the differences were, sorry, and then tell you how the different feel. So I am back from testing, and I thought before I shared the numbers and how things went, I wanted to tell you how I did the testing in a way that made sense to me based on the limited amount of time that I currently have to do stuff like this. So I did eight runs between the two sets of tires, or wheels, or bikes, whatever you want to call it. As you can see here, I did 3 runs on tubeless tires, followed by 3 runs on tubulars, followed by 1 more on tubeless and 1 more on tubulars. My thought by doing it this way is if there was a variable such as getting used to the course and feeling more confident on a bike, because it was fairly early in the morning when I did this, it would be reflected by my last time on both of those tires. I did something similar to this earlier, but didn't take video for some reason, and that's what it showed, so I wanted to try and reflect that the best I can in these times. And in all honesty, not a huge surprise to me, but there wasn't a huge difference between the 2 sets of wheels, the 2 different tire types with very similar tread patterns. The tubeless average was a 133.06 with an average heart rate of 143.6, where the tubulars, was a 132.16 average, with an average heart rate of 145. So I think that like beat and a half a minute could make up for that 0.85 of a second. Again, not scientific, a lot of variables. I did not do enough runs to give any scientific merit behind any of this, but it was more just for my own curiosity to see how similar these two different types of tires are and how that might reflect come race day. Would I recommend one over the other for someone? No, probably not. If you're getting into the sport and don't have tubulars, don't buy them. It's probably not worth it for you. If you are a seasoned veteran of cross and you have dozens of tubular wheels lying around, by all means use them. They're awesome. They work super well. Both of them have advantages and drawbacks, and it just kind of comes down to where you sit. Whether that be, like I said, wheel sets you have, how much time you have on your hands, how fussy you are about how the bike handles, and how the tires react to the ground. There's no right or wrong answer here, and I think this has been proven many times with a lot of very fast cyclocross racers using tubeless or tubular tires. It again just comes down to what your personal preference is. Personally, in most races that require a mixed tire, I'm going to lean towards tubulars just because I kind of prefer how those feel. If I only had tubeless, I wouldn't be upset, but because I have them, I'm going to use my tubular tires. Now, that being said, this weekend in Rochester, I'm realistically going to use a set of file treads that I have mounted on another set of race wheels because I don't want to glue up a set of file treads if I don't have to and I don't need another set of wheels, especially one with file treads. You're typically running higher pressures, which then takes away some of the advantage of a tubular tire where the suppleness is the biggest advantage. So anyways, that's kind of my thoughts. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, awesome. Please follow along. I'm gonna try and do more techie related videos like this, as well as just general posting and what I do on a semi-daily basis as I'm gonna have more time this fall. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.